All right, so we've successfully fixed our checkbox. It's now time to actually get the task working, because in testing the checkbox functionality, here we are on our Yew.rs app. If I come in here, this is not completed. Now, if I come to the Vue.js version of this, we're going to log in as the same user. That is completed. Okay, so what's going on here? Well, unfortunately, whenever I like refresh the page, it's supposed to be reloading all the tasks from the server. Then that would like fix this checkbox. But if we take a look at our network tab, when I hit refresh, we don't get that. It's just getting the normal WASM that executes all the code. Now, if I go to home, then it does do that. However, we're also getting a 401 error. So we have two things going on here. First of all, we logged in to the other application. Each login resets our token. So now that token is bad and doesn't work for us. So it's a 401. And second of all is we're having this refresh, like the load to get all the tasks, happen in home, which is great if we always go just to slash. But if we hit refresh here, this won't do that. So a couple things to fix here. The first easy fix is to go into our home component and find this thing. So all the way from not let's see, is it token? Token is loaded. Oh yeah, we want the token is loaded. Our dispatch, use effect. The task is okay to grab these from the store there. So all of this stuff. And I want to bring this into our lib.rs, and we're going to throw that into the root app component. All right, now you're going to be upset because there's a bunch of these things that we didn't bring in. So I use stores. We want to use, okay, we want to bring in, let's see, import you. We need to import store type. And we need to import get tasks and import set tasks. Okay, so now if I come back to our main application, I see that, okay, it's trying to get all of the apps here. I go into here, it didn't try again, but if I hit refresh, now it tries. Okay, that's great. So that's a super quick fix for having it load the tasks no matter what page we're on when we first launch the application. Great. But next problem. We have this 401 error here. And so that's telling us that if we look at the response, we are not authenticated. So that token is invalid for us. So we need to fix that. So let's go back into our solution. Let's head into our API. And in our get tasks, so, okay, we use this token. We send it, we await, we unwrap. The problem here is that this unwrap, like right here, that's going to be an issue. And I think we should be getting, yeah, we're getting an unwrap on mod line 71, which is right here. It's basically saying the return object isn't what we expect it to be. So we need to be able to handle if we don't get a 200 response back right at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and comment this code out. We'll come back to it in a little bit. And we're going to store off the request here. Okay, so now I want to, we want to check to see if we got an error, or at least if things are okay. So we can do an if here. So if request dot okay. So okay, this function here lets us know, hey, is the status code between 200 and 299? If it is, then things were probably okay. And in which case, we want to return, we want to just do the rest of the stuff. So we're going to take this request, want to uncomment you, and we want to return all of this stuff. Now, if this was not okay, we have some other stuff to do. We want to return some kind of error. Well, if we want some kind of error, that means we need to return a result that wraps around this task response. I'm thinking just a standard normal result where we have to give it the error and the type that we're responding. So task response if it's okay, and some kind of error, which we don't know of yet, or if it's an error state. Let's go ahead and fix you. So you're an okay now. Not to the end, just there. Okay, so that makes you happy, but we still have to return the error in the case that this is not an okay request. Well, to create an error, we could just create a struct that implements error and then display and all that stuff. But I find like that's not as easy to deal with. There is a crate we can use called this error that makes this really easy to create errors. So here we're going to create an enum, like a custom, like that's going to have all the different types of errors. It's going to derive error and debug. And then we can just basically create the error and then what it's going to display as, all sort of like together. Let's go ahead and implement that. So first of all, I'm going to come back into cargo toml and add in this error. Then, okay, so I'm thinking for our API here, I want to create that enum of the errors in just a different file inside of here. We'll make it a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier to find them. So we'll call them like API errors. Okay, so we're going to have a pub enum API error. We need to derive debug and error. Import error from this error. Then inside of this API error, okay, so what is our actual error? It is this 401 not authenticated. Let's just use that. So we're now going to have an error. Then tell it what exactly is this. So this is going to be like the display for this. So we're just going to say bad, like missing. Basically, the token is not good. Either we didn't have a token at all, or the token has expired. So expired or missing auth token. Okay, so that should make you happy. Let's head back into this mod here. Now we want to return that type of error from this. So this is going to be API error. All right, so We can find out exactly what type of error we have by checking the response code. It is not a good practice to use the actual message that comes with the API, the HTTP API response. That like not authenticated, that's not part of the standard. And HTTP 2, possibly onwards, they might remove that. So it is a good idea to sort of like just use the status codes as the standard. Okay, so we could match on the actual error message. So match on request dot, let's see, we have, I think it's status. Here we go. This gives us a U16. So then we can now use this to figure out what is this. So if this is a 401 error, what do we want to do? We want to turn an error. And then inside of that, we want an API error, not authenticated. Okay. And I believe we have to do an into on that, but we'll wait until it yells at us. Now, everything else, we're going to want a different type of error, but we still want it to be an API error. We just don't know exactly what this is. So let's go ahead and fix that for us and add another one. So basically this is like an unknown network error. And I'll just call that unknown. Okay, so this is perfectly happy. It likes these so far. Let's head back into the library, and now it's yelling at us. So right now, the result of get task is a result. So we don't want to just unwrap this because if that is an error, we want to handle it. So we could match this. We can do an if let. I think a match might end up being the right way to do this. Let's go ahead and just comment all of you out and sort of start over with this. So we're going to say match on get tasks. We're going to pass it in that token, and we're going to await. Now we're going to have the okay. Now, if it is okay, we're going to get all the tasks. And we just want to probably at this point return it back to here. So that makes sense to me. Now, is that true for everything? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I just want to do a block and do these things inside of here. That might make more sense. Okay, now if we have an error, we're going to get the error out. This is going to get that API error, and we could match on that. We could also just do another sort of like a sub match inside of here. I want this error to be a API error not authenticated. And then in here we have an error. So if it's anything else, let's just do error like that. Then we'll handle you. So our code is still working. We have no errors. What we can do is, at this point in time, we can do a console. Not console like that. I want actually just to bring in console, that console. So I could do console error. And I just want to print out the error. So see if it's okay with that. I think we have to toString this. All right, and it's happy with that one. And let's now if we're not authenticated, what we need to do is we need to delete the token from our state, or from the store, really. So let's see, we can create a reducer here. So pub function, let's have a so like remove token. And really this is the same thing as like a logout, isn't it? So let's just have this be a logout. I think all we're gonna need is the dispatch because we're just gonna be removing stuff. The dispatch is a store dispatch. Dispatch reduce. Okay. Do it store dot. Okay, so I want we don't know what our username and what our token is anymore. So if we look up here, username and token is unknown now. We should set them back to empty strings. So username equals, let's just do string new, store dot password. Oh, sorry, store dot token. Okay, so now let's see if we can call that logout from our from inside of here. So here we're setting the tasks. Let's see if inside of here, if we're not authenticated, we want to do API. Did I call it login? No, I called it logout. Why can't you find that? This is all in. Oh, this is in store, not API. That's why I'm in the wrong thing. This is. I want store log out. We're gonna pass it that same dispatch, but let's just clone it. And then we can do an is loaded set to true too. In fact, no matter what, we should probably do that is loaded at the end of here. So no matter what, is loaded. Okay, so that should stop us from hitting like whatever route we want to get. But if now we're in a different yeah, like if we're on like a single task, we should probably also reroute ourselves back home. So that's going to be a history. So we need our use history here. And I think, do we need to tell it the route that we're using? No, we do not. Okay, it does not take a type. Okay, so we use history. We're going to unwrap you. Now, actually, looking at this, this is browser router. Ooh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we're going to have access to that. Let's see. So if I unwrap you, I think this might fail. Let's try it. Let's just load this up, see what happens. Here we are in a task, and I'm getting a unwrap on a none value Libras, line 24. Right. So because this is outside of the this is outside of browser router, it's going to be a problem here. So I need some other way to do this. So we don't have, well, we could check to see if we do have a history, like if we are inside of another route. That might work. We could maybe grab the history here. And then inside of authenticated, let's just see if we have a history now. So if history dot is some, see, I think we have to clone you all the way down. Or at least move it all the way in here. So history comes into here, and then it's going to come into here. So if history is some, let's just log something out. We'll just do a console log history exists. I sort
Hello
of,
there. I'm Siri.
hey,
How can I help?
no, shut up. Also, you can go way down in volume. Sorry about that. Let's see, console log history exists. Let's see if we get this working. So let's see, you load. History does not exist still. We still have our tasks, but it's now showing this login. So that showing the login is good. But inside of here, it's showing all these tasks. The show history is not working, so we can't actually navigate out quite easily that way. I wonder if we can check the documentation for how to navigate out easily. Otherwise, we'll just have to show an error message at this point to say like, hey, look, you can't do the thing. We don't have the tasks. And maybe we should even just delete the tasks and remove you completely. Because if we don't have, if the token is bad, we should probably just like refresh and like remove everything. Um, let's go to Yew.rs. And I want to go to docs, concepts, router. Is there a way for me to get access to the router through something else, like outside of the route? Um, the other choice would be to actually just do a like grab the window itself. So they have some context stuff, but that's going to be inside of the browser router, I think. These are only available when browser router is used. Okay. They provide additional functionality that's not available in any history in any location. Okay. Now, any history, any location, I wonder what we can do there. Let's see a link. So in any history instance can be obtained in either case to manipulate the route. Okay, so we have function components, use history, but again, that needs to be inside of the browser. So we can't actually access that. So I'm wondering if just an error message and then not necessarily navigating away. Let's see what we do over here. So if I, in this one, we have my single tasks. If I copy this URL and I log out and I try to go back to it. Ooh, so this doesn't navigate us back to slash. Instead, it just shows us this error message. So I think we want to try to do something like that too. So in that case, we don't need to navigate out. We don't need our history. Oh, wrong one, that one. So we don't need this history. Sort of get rid of it. We don't need to clone you in, and we don't need you. Okay, so basically, right now, just sort of like a resetting and marking us as logged out is probably good enough. Good enough for now. It might be good to like eventually have some kind of we're logged out state. But for right now, I think this will work. So let's come back to here. We now notice that hey, we're no longer logged in. Let's come back to slash. Hit login. And hey, now we can see that it is completed. Okay, let's try this one more time and come back into here. Log in. I want to uncomplete it because we haven't implemented that yet in our app. Come back to here, hit refreshed. We're no longer logged in. Let's do that. And let's see, you are not completed. Oh, I had to refresh twice. So it took a little bit of time. It did refresh the token in the state, but it took a little bit of time for it to update. That might be something that we want to consider for this. Maybe we want to not include the tasks, or just like tell it to like refresh when it's actually updated, because it may not know that it updated. Things to consider that I'll have to think about, like how I want to deal with, because that's going to be an architectural thing. So, but this was fixing what I wanted to fix, which was we now update our tasks at the root component. So no matter where we are, we get all new tasks. And then also if we are logged out because our token expired or is like non-existent or is was consumed and used, like somebody else created a new one, then we're going to go ahead and move that token in, or sorry, remove it from state and cause us to log out automatically. So hopefully that was helpful. And now we can get back on track with editing each of these. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.